Welcome to Podcast on Wheels. I'm your host, Brian Smith, and today joining us, the founder of Bearded Warriors, Ty. Welcome to the show, brother.
Nice to see you, man. Well, what is Bearded Warriors? Started back in 2013. It's dear locally and comfortable without any other chapters. Through personal contact, professional contacts, we have reach, all of the metrics.
Some people become numb to the numbers and the actual suicides and the things that we hear, because it's like, this is real. These are real people when you deal with that.
I don't know if it's about numbness. I think it's more of a, just like you deal with their own problems, they just ignore it.
Yeah.
Probably they will either figure itself out, go away, or just not affect them. But then, they does that, get more problems for so long, or do something to avoid that problem. Eventually that problem, even then, you can rear head back, that you've been even worse than he was initially. So I think a lot of it is just comes down to there's a bit of ignorance when it comes to not the numbers part, but just like how we get to that number in the feed, like what leads somebody to that being their final decision of it. When I'm like, what are the steps or what are the things that you can get for prior to that? So that like what we try to do is where it no longer becomes a conversation, because you're picking on so many other things that involve, and you have so many chats and outs, so they just find you. They get up the
So am I correct in saying that may be that education that you provide and you teach because of your experiences? How to look for those things?
And it's just one of the see something, say something, right? A lot of people will see a lot of things going on around them, but they're like, that's not my problem. Yeah, we're not that close. I just met him. I don't want to have that weird thought. I don't want to have that conversation. I have that, but at the same time, it's like, that may have been the one opportunity that you had to say something. And that if you miss it, the next thing you know, you're seeing a Facebook post from a you going to go about somebody guy saying, so it's just going to look like you see the opportunity, but really in anything, you're not necessarily trying to, stop somebody from self-harm or do it. But anything that you see something and it doesn't look right, whether you may or may not be right, say something and just get clarification. So then nothing else at the end of the day, you can go, oh, I tried.
Yeah. And sometimes I've talked to other people that have helped veterans get through things. And a lot of times it's just knowing that somebody cared enough to speak up or ask.
That was one of the biggest part that, like, probably the number one reason why somebody, veteran or not, decides that this is their only option.
Right.
Because they've gotten to the point they think that they're probably too consuming or had all the way consumed up.
Right.
That the other party is proceeding to lead up to that, they would feel like they'd be forgotten. Because nobody has said anything and nobody reached out and nobody has initiated any kind of conversation. Now it works both ways. Yeah, that person should also try to reach out, right? So try to talk, or hey, I'm not okay. And and so it's just stuff. But you feel like you've forgotten, which makes you feel like nobody cares. It's just like, why am I even here? If there's
No, I get it. And I just, I'm the type of person that I say probably more than I should sometimes to people, but I've been complimented to say I never have a question of what Brian's thinking, or if he notices something, he's going to say something,
right.
And I feel like that's, some people avoid me because of that maybe, but.
Well, I get that. I mean, I think where we live, in Bible Belt, Alabama, South and stuff like that, people don't want to talk about suicide.
Right.
For the thing that lead up to that, because I have to bring, just like, well, there's a problem. Yeah. Nobody wants to admit that they have a problem. This is across the board. Just the topic of videos on a day to day. Nobody wants to say that something's not right or that they can't figure it out and do it on their own.
Right.
I'm guilty of that. And the man up mentality doesn't work. Like, literally, it really doesn't work for anything.
Right.
It may work for a little bit.
Yeah.
But eventually that's going to run out because of keep it on, So you have to have that ability. So that you have people looking out for you, but at the same time, you're looking out for yourself. You have to advocate for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And I appreciate you explaining that, because like you said, it's in almost everything. And I can think back just when I started in the insurance business, and I thought, well, I've been a business owner before. I know how this works. I don't have to ask for help. I'm a man. I'll figure this out. But it's like, I look back at that. One of the guys called me, goes, why hadn't you called me for help? And I'm like, why would I? So I see how much you're not making. like, well,
Because you're drowning.
yes, yes, because you need a life, But as you have started the Bearded Warriors and you've gotten to, I don't want to say cool things, but you've gotten to do a lot of instrumental impact type things.
Yeah. Well, like serious quality
Yes.
of life. Sometimes it's small things. It's, I think the other day I saw something, saw somebody that was obviously that. And maybe thinking it's like, when most people try to live their life to see their name in the lights, it's like maybe you should live to you can see the light in their eye.
Hmm.
Because it's a difference of, because you're shining the light on yourself.
Yep.
Look at me versus one small thing like maybe a couple of years ago, we probably have it come out at the end when you about buckets of low. They don't know people otherwise that's with 5 gallon buckets. So you get the nation, so you really fill with socks, gloves, you can be like hot top, provide can openers. It's something people can, like camping, kind of stuff.
Right.
But handing somebody a 5 gallon bucket full of things that's going to be able to sustain them for a week or two, like, is that going to fix that person's problem that living on those camp? Most likely not in totality.
Correct.
But at least to that day, and the next couple of days after that, they have a solution for what they're going to need or trained or, waiting, little baby wipes in there. And, right. So to that there. So just that little bit of a change. Now, hopefully the consistency on that, be like, I need to do something better. Somebody goes back to, they're not forgotten.
Right. Yeah. And it's so simple in a way, things we take for granted, just making sure that they have that. And that's awesome. The things and I know you've had both sides of the story where you've seen the guy get better, female, male, and then you've seen the other side, obviously. But what are some things that if, for maybe somebody that they want to do more or they're not really sure what is Bearded Warriors, how do we find you? What are some things people could do that want to help out or give time or money or what?
There's just a willingness of anything. Some people don't have the time to be at an event and volunteer, whether it's set up and clean up or to have registration. Some you don't have the time to do that. So you may have the financial needs. And so that's one way to do it. I talked about it earlier before we started recording. I've been doing this for 13 plus years now. And I'm just now at a point where we're having to kind of consistently or have a financial need.
Mm-hmm.
Most of everything that we do is, if you see it on our social media, show up and hang out. Now that could be a show up and hang out and you're going to do stuff. We're at a Home Depot, we're at the golf plan and setting up, a setup with a cleanup process. Or sometimes it's just that we're at an event and we're just there to hang out and, have a good time and you chit chat and you have a best opinion. And those people that just want to be a part of what's going on.
Right. So if somebody wanted to come to an event that wasn't a veteran, they can come and volunteer. Everybody does it.
Yeah. It's the premise on it like this. One, we try to have notice UCG why somebody can't be here. We have single parents. But now if well, I got my kids, I'm like, well, I have sole custody of my son since he's 16 and I think it had like a month.
Yeah.
But well, that's sole custody and she was 30. So any event that I went to for the first 10 years, he was ready for we could chit chat about the whatever.
Yeah.
But like everybody has a story. Everybody's struggling with something to some degree. So it's like that collective solution could be the one thing that you bring to the table that somebody that's dealing with something currently may not have thought about or thought was an option. So if you share, you don't have to be going to super detail. You can share like, hey, I have this struggle. These are the things that I did that worked. This is a thing. These are things I'm getting. And maybe you can come up with a combo of all of them and it works for you, or maybe you go and do this exact same thing. So, it's just one of those, everybody can do anybody from, with that. The orange, which is like, everybody wanting to baby seat on that. Right. All the way up to 80-year-old vets and hanging up and let it come hang out. So that's still just be a part of something going on. So We have a lot of older vets, and in one way, most of them are just, they follow and share things about social media and stuff like that. They really enjoy seeing in the later generation behind them doing the stuff that wasn't available or to them at all, or the experience that they got and they came back, right? It's drastically different than the ticker temporaries and all the organizations that are giving all these things, and trips and houses and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, it's refreshing for them to see that, that so people do still support that's actually very out in the military.
Yeah. Because I was never a veteran. I was told at an early age, I don't know if I've shared this with you before, either you're going to go get a scholarship, play sports, you're running the military. And I was like, okay, I was good enough to play sports, but it was almost like, to me, it's like, but I've got family in the military and I like that. And but it was almost like those were my options. You got to figure out how to get out of this. Baseball was my answer, but the respect that I have for the guys that grow up, because even if they do make it home or if they get through the tour and they do these things, it's still, I can't imagine just in my limited experience of being around different people in different scenarios, situations, or they hear, see, or feel, or right. So how could somebody that sees that, what would be something, how would be a conversation starter with that guy? What would you say from their experience? Because not me,
well, you're not a vet, but I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been to combat, I've been all those things. I played.
Yeah. The worst thing I did about it.
Right. Yeah. Which is fine though, because, where we may not be on a eye to eye conversation as far as all of my life experience and your life experience. We both like baseball. We both like cars. We like sports. Yeah. Going out to eat, drinking a beer. Yeah. Hanging out, bonfires, all that stuff. Yeah. So what you do, you just find a commonality that way. It is something that you're gonna do every day, right? Even though you're out and I'm back home and not in the military anymore. Like I'm not going to be deployed, right? That's not right. That I'm going to go do that again. That's not part of my day to day. But watching a game or going to a local movie or hockey, baseball, or whatever, or going to a movie or going out to eat, or those things are all things that we both be fine. You just try to find something to. Well, okay, I don't necessarily drink a whole lot, but I go on car shows. There's a car show going on. Like,
right.
Let's go. Right. Let's meet up and get that, and I was like, oh, it's a one stop. Yeah, well, let's go get one. So then you make a day of it, because what will eventually happen is when you have those everyday commonality conversations, those lead into eventually bringing a rapport between those two people that on both sides, that eventually you're going to be like, hey man, I got XYZ going on. You got a couple of minutes. Yep. Yep. And then because you built that relationship and have that, trust built up for that person, you know that that's something that you're okay sharing with them at that point. Right. I wouldn't come out within 5 minutes and try to tell them about that.
Right. Right.
Because then they're going to be like,
That's how we started.
Right. I mean, but at the same time, though, you might just connect with somebody enough, and they just, that's the person that was placed in front of you to do that. Well, I've had people do that in the pipeline. That's when I had my truck ran.
Yes.
Walking out of Walmart, kind of, just going to my truck, and somebody's like, hey man, if that's your truck, and they're like, oh, it seemed like all of a sudden, 45 minutes later, I know this person almost entire life story. It's whatever. Like,
right.
They ate it. They had a whole bunch on their shoulders, and they ate it to vent out or whatever. So I was like, I guess I'm going to go all about it.
Yeah.
So
I wanted people to hear you say in your way that they're just people. They didn't have to be a script. It didn't have to be something preset, and you don't have to be worried that you're going to offend somebody. No,
this is going to naturally, the conversation are going to naturally.
Yeah. I felt like a lot of people will look at it and go, what if I say the wrong thing? Or what if I do this? Well, if you're better off
if you're a non-vet, obviously of that, you're going to have to leaps and bounds, get over a huge mountain before you probably say something that's going to be like, whoa, that's cross.
Right. Right. But that's what it's like, it's just,
Honestly, probably the more offensive
Coming from the
conversation
other
you
way.
have is the more likely you don't need to click it. That's person.
yeah.
Kind of like, but no, there's, I mean, and you can like read the name, obviously. I mean, you're going to be, you're not going to be able to say everything that every,
Right.
and stuff like that. But at the same time, like you're not,
Yeah.
it'll probably take a while for somebody, a vet to tell somebody else, okay, you got to be, that's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then they'll laugh like you just did. It's like, yeah, I'm already in that comfort. But I wanted to make sure in the beginning of the show to talk about, how to communicate their people. They're going through the same stuff. They're trying to figure out where to put gas in their car and get the groceries and cover the bills and take care of their kids and family and teenage kids. Like teacher how to get the ball. Right. Yeah. That's all it's just life. Yeah. But are there any local places here or things that you've worked with in the past? Or I know you said your Home Depot opportunity there, which, me being me, I hear that. And the other day I needed to get something. Well, there's a blue store and an orange store, and I chose to go to the orange one because we had that conversation. And I know the blue probably does okay too, but it's like, they do that for this. And then when I, forgive me, but I hope you respect this. Like when I met you, I reached out to a mutual friend that knew you and I said, how is the guy? What is, because we had a guy on the show, and I'll tell you this story. Navy SEAL, a business owner, talking to him one day, and he actually hired a guy who said he was a Navy SEAL. I'm going to find out wasn't. And he's like, of all people to get fooled, man, it's like, that was terrible. And he's like, but he said every, but then finally one of our guys did a check and he was like, bro, there was no, whatever the name, and because I think a lot of people try to figure out, well, what do they, right? So if you could tell from what you were telling me earlier about the FFLs, the different opportunities, it's just, people need to know what is available for them.
And well, for us, there's not a gift. There's organizations that use stuff specifically for kids that have dealt with SA. There's things that kids that are dealing with depression and anxiety or a single mom. It's very niche. Right. They do it very like a stovepipe. They get one audience and they give you one thing at the bottom. Well, with us, it's, to me, you can come like you said, even though you're not a vet, but you got stuff going on, or you want to try to vent or get out. Yeah, just honestly, you can, anybody can take this however I say it. Well, you want to feel better about yourself, so you're like, I want to go volunteer. Yeah, I want to do something for somebody else that can't give that back to me, right? But then have that takeaway of knowing that I is able to be something awesome for something. Yeah, it's just like, just taking that and being alive with it. But people do that all the time. So, it could be a personal reason, or it could be like a lot of little volunteers that I need to put on Home Depot, even the employees at Home Depot, they all have a connection to a dad, and aunt, and uncle, their grandpa, the Lion store manager, and the guy in the store here now. Yeah. He got really involved with being a Team Depot guy, being a part of East Building and stuff like that, because he grew up here in Knoxville. His grandfather hung out at the EFW on the Blackburn Spartan. Yeah. But all the time. Yeah. So he had the opportunity, once he was with Home Depot long enough, to be the guy that facilitated these efforts, he was in, and then it just kind of worked out like it's me and I, that we both had a lot of things in common, just in, he and I becoming friends over the last 11 years of giving me projects. And so you get, not only are you getting about like work, professional or work related need, right? But we also hang out with kids. We go to church together. Yeah. And all in the full circle of, they started that cold call. They got this thing going on with vets, but I mean, you don't even know what we're doing. Like, I don't care.
That conversation is here that started. That's awesome. But then, but it's just one of those, like, you don't have a kid. Right. Right. So whatever you're into, you like baseball and fitness stuff. So we try to do that. Is something that I don't have in my back pocket.
but I know enough people that those are the two things that you bring to you that I can connect you with 4 or 5 people that are doing those things or involved with those things. That one of my buddies who moved down to Colin, his name Donnie, to mine that he came up to an event when we were doing haircuts at Lifetime Rescue Machine, giving free haircuts to all of the couple of the ladies, but most of the guys that were in their wife program at the deep mission. And then we will also give haircuts to you guys that are staying in the overnight period. He came up with one of his friends that was a stylist. He was like, oh, I'm doing today. He said, oh, well, I'm going to go get haircuts. This organization up in Northville. And so he tagged along his thing's Facebook. Now I got our Junior Warrior started in everything. We had like 5 or 6 guys that could all vets that were disabled to some degree that were on a team together that played a tournaments down in that area. Yeah. And then in 6 months, he like the fire that started with him because we saw what we were doing at the mission with haircuts. Yeah. And then turned his softball team into the nonprofit. And he provides, or he talks to other teams and media. I think that's on the, even his feelings, to play on their team. But organize this and they help them. They always turning us a fundraiser and most give money back to kids in the area that can't pay for the kids, so the teens get it on and stuff like that. And that all started because he came up to available, we were giving free haircuts to the home. Right. Yeah. So like that wasn't a thing that was on my radar. But because of what we were already doing and we came to be part of it, he created an entire other thing with something that he was passionate about, which is playing softball and give it back to you.
Yeah, so that's awesome. And you really are an open door policy as far as how can we help and if the right situation. And that's the coolest thing because it's been, like I said, open door, but every time I've reached out and scheduling this and doing that, you've been very efficient. And that's just who you are, right? I mean, when I was a government employee until 2018. Got medical stuff, fundamental stuff, all kind of did all the same thing. Right. And so I decided to walk away from my governing position. And then, so I just do this spare time. Okay. And so my availability is, I wake up every morning. What do I got to do today? Yeah, what's going on today? But I can just fill in the gaps. Right. Maybe continue something. Just, and you're constantly busy. You feel a lot of this everything. Yeah. Maybe I'm someplace. You got to keep the wheels turned. Yeah. You get stagnant, idle minds kind of thing. Yeah. But at the same time, it's one of those like, at the end of the day, I don't necessarily know exactly what I'm getting into every day. Right. But at the end of the day, when I am done for the day, I can look back and be like, okay, these are the things I changed. This is what I got. This is going to change, or this is going to be better for this person because of these things as time goes on. So it's just going, fulfillment part I was lacking. Yep. With my other thing, I was still doing this and doing that. And he's full-time dad, so why not? And so, I was able to just time on calling in the focus. Yeah, I'm trying to be everything all the time. It was showing me on, like you're saying, like, you're like, well, no, but you need help. You're not doing this. Right. You think you're doing good. Right. But outside looking in, you look like a dumpster fire. Yeah. Yeah, that would have been probably better. But it's just one of where like I was able to focus in, on what was important for me. And then it just kind of works out that what's important to me is very beneficial for a lot of different things, for many different reasons. That's a gift. That's a gift. Maybe you had to go through hell to earn it and get it, but I did get a lot of you didn't do all that? No, it must be nice. I'm like, that's a very loaded, this is a very loaded guest. Like it is. And I don't take away from being able to do this full time by any means, but I know that to get to where I am today, there is a whole lot of BS and sacrifices of, not going out and not thinking, paying double down on this or feeling like I was broke. Right. I paid for it all out of my pocket. Wow.
Because he was one of those, like, just because there's not any money doesn't mean that the need isn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like,
That's a lot. I mean, you've just, somebody's listening to this show and they don't feel what you just said, because like the need's still there. Somebody got to do it. Right? Somebody asked me the other day, well, what if you didn't get to do what you were taught in your purpose? And wasn't there, there'd be a lot of people that may not get what I could give. And you just find a way to do that. I applaud you so much for doing it, because as a leader and founding that and being able for you to be able to handle all the stuff that you get told that you're a part of, and then not just yourself, right? I mean,
well, you mean, part of that, like I tell everybody, I'm just as much of a participant in anything that's going on.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm transparent. I'm an open book. Like, I'm 100% rated from the get.
yeah,
I do have like physical stuff. Like, one of the other reasons why I left my government job, I had a 2 spinal fusion in June of that year. Now that's in November.
right.
Yeah, I've got total neuropathy in both legs. I've had my knee reconstructed. I had another follow-on surgery with my lower back and that. Yeah, other organs, I don't have all my inside parts on there anymore. Right. I can't take any stuff out like that. But, I'm 100% rated on top of all of that for mental health stuff. I'm just as much of a participant in what's going on and need the events, or want the events to happen, not only for myself, but because I know the benefit that I got from before I even started doing Beauty Warriors. It was one of those, like, I would go to work, you drive straight home. It was the only places if I absolutely had to. And if I needed to go grocery shopping or something like that, like, you just go to my house. Sometimes I didn't even go, but just in the parking lot. I was like, no, not today. You go right back on. I had to incrementally get myself back out there. It was, just far down the line now. It sounds almost kind of stupid to say it out loud, but at the same time, that's where I was at.
Right.
That's how people, I'm like, I had to explain it to her. I think we talked about the gym mentality. Like, walk into the gym on something like 300 pounds right your first day. Like, you start off to the bar, right? Like, if you get you out a 5 pound or a 2 pound plate and you work your way up. Well, I had to do the same thing to get out of my car to go into the store, but to get things that I needed.
Yeah.
So I had to put a timer on my phone, and then I would try to make it to the timer.
Right.
Sometimes I did, sometimes I did. But then it got to where a 2-minute timer turned into a 4-minute timer, turned into 6 minutes. So where I was able to get all the things that I needed to be in. And so once I was able to kind of like, and then in the room like that, I was going and volunteering at events, like putting myself out in like uncomfortable positions, right? But that were still safe places. Like, when they had an event, they're like, saw a call for volunteers. I didn't know anybody there. Didn't know really, not that I didn't know the event was, but I didn't have any interest in it. But I was just, they need people to pick things up from here and put them over there or whatever. So I show up. And then like I said, one guy, to the selfish takeaway of, well, I feel better myself now that I've been able to help somebody else. But then at the same time, that threw me out into like the semi-uncomfortable position for 2 or 3 hours. Yeah, and then that's that takeaway was like, well, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed that. Who else could be doing the same thing? So I started like getting my buddies to show up. I tell them, like, I have the dumbest people in the world, and I'm like, they'll just blindly follow me. They're doing something sometimes, right? Right. But it's just way it was like, but that's how it was started. Yeah, like getting people out, and then like we would show up to somewhere. And, volunteer bases are volunteer. Oh, yeah, I'll be there. And then nobody shows up. So you're expecting 20 people to show up to do this one task, and there's one guy. Yeah. And then so like we just, we show up, and the military part of it will be like, okay, well, this is job that I would need, fix the chairs, fix the table, be there for long enough time. People don't know where to go. And so we're directing you, turning your cat. So yeah. You're like, well, I don't know where to go. I'm like, well, what are you trying to do? And they're like, that's over here. Right. You over there. Right. And you get checked in yet? And that's that put behind them, right. They're just helping out. And if people are like, what do you guys live? Well, I live with anybody. We're just out here. And fill in or whatever. And so it just kind of started catching on, and people then started reaching out after I created the Facebook page. Right, people reached out like, "Hey, we have an event on. Do you have any guys, or are you available to show up?" And that's how I'm planning to getting into the social interaction with getting people out just to community events in general. Right. And then what we found was, we show up to one event. Well, the people that had that will talk about another event, but another thing that they were at or something that's coming up. And then eventually you find like your circle of people or people of interest. Always like you show up to an event, and especially in Huntsville, you're going to see the same, depending on what the event is, you're going to see the same people at the same event, and you're eventually going to become friends. And you're like the gym. Yeah. You're going to go to the gym, you go to the gym at 5 o'clock every day. You're going to see the same people. Yeah. You eventually you're going to take your earpod out. Yeah. And say, "Hey, talk to somebody." Yeah. Because you're there all the time. So yeah, just that, that little spark to get you going. And
Yeah, I just thought about myself at the gym because when people see me coming, they're like putting theirs in. They're like, "Oh, crap, here comes that guy that all he does is talk here. We don't think he works out." I'm guilty of that, I should say. But what I wanted to, for the people watching this show is, I'm stealing this from somebody, but we're best suited to help the people we once were. And you, by being transparent and not lying about that story right there. I'm sitting here listening to the story and thinking, I can't wait to get to places because I love to be around people, but we're different there, but I would have never known that about you because every time I've seen you, it's different. Though. It's a process.
Well, I tell people, I can sit down and talk. I can sit down and think. And a family, sometimes it's family members, right? Family members deal with what the vet's dealing with times 2, because I'm not only are we dealing with that, and then their fallout, or their low or their high, or whatever was going on, but they're also dealing with their own stuff, and then whatever reaction that vet has to whatever else is going on. And so the family members, sometimes who I talk to more often or more frequently, just so that one, they are venting to them, or hey, who can I go to, or who do I need to talk to, or it's just like getting information that they can relay, like putting little cookie crumbs to their vet without dealing with this, their husband or their brother or their dad or whatever. And they're just getting that piece of information and stuff out, so that they can have that same point. So one cool thing about the events when family members show up is not only can the 2 vets chit chat and talk about same place, same space, stuff like that when they were in the military, but then the spouses can talk about things that they're dealing with at all, or whatever. A vet couple that's been out for a year, and they may not be dealing with anything yet. Right. Hopefully they don't ever with this thing yet. But then you have a couple who've been out for 10 years whose husband has similar things. Right. That spouse to be like, "Hey, heads up. Like, I'll look forward. Absolutely. If you've using these things, here's a place that we tried. This is the thing that we tried. I just use a conversation. Diffuser, things kind of go crazy. Whatever, like you said, try to do with that. And just have like that full circle mentorship that not only comes from hopefully vets of that, right? Where eventually they'll reach out to him, to me, or to somebody else. You can say they got something going on. But the spouse or family member also have that same eye-to-eye network. So they can reach out to you and be like, "Hey, this is what involved that. You're right. Like, what did you guys do? Or this is what I've seen." But that being said, the one takeaway that I agree when I can sit across the table, see somebody doing, it's like, it sucks. Like, it's terrible. But it gets better. Yeah. And then I feel that I can share, my story. And it's still sunshine rainbow. Right. But it's light years compared to what it was, Like I can go around I can walk around the store aimlessly now for hours because I'm trying to fill time. Where, 10 years ago, which is not that long, I couldn't, one, either get out of my house to get into the car to go to the store. But once I got to the store, I sat in the parking lot longer than it would have taken me to go in the damn store to get what I needed.
Yeah.
So, but it's like, there's also like now that I know who you are, sucks to be you.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna reach out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you text messages. I'm gonna ask how the real life. I'm gonna ask you
Yeah.
you wait at a point.
Yeah.
Or if you don't go, they want to know why. Okay, cool. I'm available. Let's throw them on. Great. I'll release.
Right. That is, it's so cool to say. And the way you just said that, I laughed. It was like, yeah, sucks that you told me, and I know what we can do together.
Right.
And that's what I think together you live.
Well, it all boils down to like what I try to do, whether it's an event or talking to somebody or responding to an email or a text message, stuff like that, is I just want to be able to give somebody what I wish somebody giving me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, it was a very long and dark, like, because I moved back in 2006. Okay. Did it Warriors with Sasha Pool 13.
Right.
So long, very dark several years.
Right.
Now you go back and look at social media and stuff like you probably, but that's a snapshot of that 1 millisecond of a picture, of course, kind of thing. But yeah, once everybody went home and I'm sitting about myself, but I've done things I hold up of a picture. Right. So I just wanted everybody, I said the event, the fun stuff, collaboration with businesses or business or different, but you send guys on quail hunts and turkey hunts, and we had one guy in Bass and I'll feed in with a bunch of stuff, even on a lamb hunt, like potatoes or whatever. Like promoting this, which sounds like, hey, you've got response team, sending team outside this. I know what everybody, that's the other part about it too, like I know what all of everybody's into. Right. But I have it's like just a mental Rolodex of, Wayne's into this, all into that, but Sean's into anything. I know the things that they're into and saying if something comes across my table of an opportunity for somebody, as long as they're available, they're the people that are on my list of, listen, this is something you can throw into. I mean, my buddy Wayne that I met at an event, there's a Jasper, give him to you, then I go up to Maine. I think it's an Olympic even they ski like a trap.
Yeah.
And like go to a shooting position. Yeah. He was like, bro, this is my team.
Yeah.
I don't really particularly like the skiing part. Like it's cool. Like I just shooting.
Yeah.
But I get to shoot something, put a rifle on my back and trek around the course and come back. You get to shooting. I got to beat up, see me around. So but it's sort of like just finding the opportunity that give you another option. Once you're there, you're going to talk to other people that are there and other events that are going on or other things that are happening, right? That gets you into that circle of interest. You look to that now, you're not just stuck at your house. You've got something you look forward to. There's something that you didn't even know available out there that's there, but also gives you free.
Right.
Like you just have to show up.
Right.
Because what I try to provide here is where there's almost no cost to you. If they're in very little, and it's about right. So that nobody has an excuse to why they can show up and hang out. Try to be better.
Yeah. And that's really is an open door as we get to do this show and I'm asking these questions and understanding more about you and how that works. The one thing that you mentioned, you've got the golf coming up April 20th. You've got some other things coming up. So if somebody wanted to play in the golf, what would they have to speak? How do they get the information?
They go to our website, thewarriors.org, the tab that'll take you out for Get Better online, and then there's team sign up, the sponsor sign ups from there. And then from that's where we're all about. And we have PayPal and all the way. That is a consolidated thing. There's drop down that. So I'll take it different efforts that we have going on, whether it's like the general Beard and Warrior, like donation, fund, like we have the, it'll be updated this week, but for the April golf tournament. And then the Drawdown tab for the Safer Together initiative, there's the Safes.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that.
So Safer Together is it's a grassroots effort that started with a coalition between like us, nonprofit, fiduciaries. We were at with the Alabama Department of Veteran Affairs, Alabama National Bar, again, coupled with the governor's challenge for Alabama suicide prevention. House Bill 40 was introduced down in Montgomery back in the and moved through the process and went through the vote of the not it to it's vote.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they have to live with that movie. Wow. So like what it does, the Houston Hunter Act, two vets that are from Alabama that served in the military came back and then when there's troubles, kind of the same thing that we were talking to their moms, both some of the nonprofits in each of their honor. You talk to their moms and stuff like that about them they got out. They sound like what I did. They go always help the ladies out. They were doing the tool, they were doing this, they were out at events and hanging out and the physical stuff that happens. Everybody goes away and the house gets quiet. They ultimately plus of them, but 2 years of fight for each other. They ultimately wound up taking their lives. So to honor them, and the bill was named after that. It's just the Houston Hunter Act. What it does, it's a liability legislation for the FFLs. The ATF put out a letter in 2022 stating that FFLs could temporarily hold firearms for somebody who help advise this stuff, which is that's huge.
Yeah.
That again, from the top down saying, hey, you guys can do this. But where the bill came in, because they were FSL on fits about it, like they didn't knock on that bill, but they also didn't like the liability that came from if somebody came in, veteran, first responder, it says firefighter, police, sheriff, deputy, EMT, nurse, and whatnot. They came into their shop and you came into the shop and gave me your weapon, then you have to get the way to program in. You put it in a safe that's it's your warrior safe, so it's not theirs. So they don't have to put anything to their record except have intake the end maybe for service. Because then you came back to pick it up, then you have to do a mix check. And depending on what happened in the interim, something they preclude you from taking that weapon back up. You had a court case or or something, some sort of litigation that's going on, and you may not be able to get it back. You get a flag on your background check. Correct. But this what it does, because I am safe. The veteran puts in the code to open it and put their weapon in that safe. It's just a storage facility on there. When you come and that veteran comes back, it alleviates any kind of liability that the gun shop or the FFL has to where if they were to receive their weapons back and then drive down the road 10 miles, like do something to the more going home and you'd see that with you like the
Right.
everybody's gone.
Yeah.
Kind of people didn't need it kind of thing. Yeah. It takes away that liability, kind of like if a person goes to the bar and gets overserved and they give him a car, and hit somebody or whatever damage, like that on the bar or the bartender that both deserve them. Yeah. But it takes away that liability for the FFL where like they don't mean something to help you. Yeah, they can't control what you do after you leave, or whatever. So not that you come back civilly from family members or whoever was, or like that. But it allows it. It's free. It's temporary. But you come back again, right? And then there's no. There's only the one page paperwork that has first name, last name, email, phone number, just so that you put somebody you get in contact. And it's a fire or something like that, a shop, but they can let you know or something like that happen. But it doesn't get put out to anybody. I give them that there's 3 people they did an email, you're letting us know that the program would be using. If you place your devices in a safe in a folder that has a big fold out, you'll be able that has information about the program, some information about boosting your iron, and then resources from the area that you're in, and then another sheet that has peer counselor information, resources like if you're a spirit warrior or able to attend the area about Toronto or degree warriors, still serving vets. I think just out there, like there's a it doesn't right just not only know all people. You can reach out to for assistance. Like I'll probably well down. I'm gonna give you all down to get counseling or get involved in good stuff with us. It's also a 3x5 card that you give value schools or kid right. So sort of thank you messages. So also,
Yeah, absolutely.
Just some sort of positive message that, as first name and last name, she would have protected or easy. They get their adopting and everything.
Yeah.
And then there's it's just a lot of time, put events like this. And you really look, it's like 18 months of research and information, figuring out the best way to do this. It's in Alabama. And so they don't fall into practice. Sometimes just so that you go through that, the whole process, and you don't get any follow up.
Right.
Like, here's all my information, here's what's going on, and then nobody contacts you. And you deal in contact, like curious here about peer counselor contacts you almost immediately.
Yeah.
Yes, but hey, I was tired.
Yeah.
I saw it. Yeah, I got another patient that you used to say for the daily program, you know, to make sure about that. No, very good. It's a level of accountability.
Yeah.
Because then also I get the message and then you reach out. So you can go to you and the Russo for that. Like, hey, we got Jim in Madison that he's born, drop their stuff off with. He's pretty close to you. You tag, high five tag.
Yeah.
They just have enough setting another level of accountability or hey, he was pretty close to you when we had a bit about it next week. So you have everybody else on the pick them up, bring it. You have to hit on your devices. You also follow up and make sure there's a question out on there that we'll have on the ask if you go to the VA. Because the VA about you go to the VA, what do you go to the VA for right now? Service and activity right now, so that they have an idea of what services are available to you as far as VA goes. Or if you've not been to the VA or job goes, well, why not? And then let's get that started. Right. That's another on top of the peer counseling. Get you in there. The counselor at the VA, get yourself going to that. May not be medication, but maybe you. Right. And just get that service so that you can get on path to be in a better spot so you won't have to come back to turn yourself in because I'm trying to figure out what way to do.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And you had shared a little bit about that with me prior, and just to hear all the other steps, I shouldn't be surprised that you guys had thought of the things because of the years that you went to relentlessly do all the stories, right? But it's like, it's refreshing to hear. And I wanted people to know that that's available. And there's, for the gun shop and you want to participate, what do they have? You say, I'm willing to participate. Okay. There's 27 by the technology and boy, okay. Down, very, they, Jason came up from Montgomery, did the training with peer staff there. So that they know, maybe it's not a lot, but just so that they know what to do and how to, somebody's coming in because they said that somebody's coming in and they've something going on. Right. They're not counselors. Right. Like they're willing to chit chat and talk. Sure. But it's obviously going to be something that's more than just talking to the guy across from the counter. Right. But we'll have that kickoff event on the 27th. So, okay. I think right now it's 10 to 12 to 2. Okay. That'll let you go there. Hopefully, the video show up and whatnot. And then a couple weeks after that, smaller kickoff at the VR ball armory. We'll go off the good guy view at Krispy Kreme. Yeah. I'm all part play. So it's kind of cool. You have coverage at Huntsville right now on North and South Florida. So we should get people from Arab, Spring, Maury County area, also the South Huntsville area, Super Ridge, and that same
what little application do you do out here? And then on South End down here, let's go ahead and stuff like that. Right. But then also have the north even now, they felt tipsy. People that are green, even ready, even tipsy, playing now. But yeah, I got to work and I'm saying that that's just keep on living up to it. They're getting the same thing. Like you want North Shore, but
Yeah. I got that. I got a buddy that's calling it that now.
but yeah, but he was a Marine too, by the way. I think about it. So yeah, the stuffers like that. So yeah, you're open, maybe last before a lot of areas, but that would be fast county line. Yeah, area. It's going to be people from this area, Athens, the Warvis, Tony, up my area, stuff like that. So yeah, the ultimate goal is to want to have one FFL every county. So that you don't have to drive an hour or two just to get yourself taken care of.
Some of my cars I drove might not make it out. To get it put up. I mean, it's pretty convenient.
Well, and then the other part, that's like, it's okay. Well, now I think that's available, but that's not available with you. You're right. So far out. We have 2 years, so, we have an rifle company, the Hoover, my gun shop and Bellum, Command Tactical in Dyersville. And then you have on the woods, another FFL in the Montgomery area. I'm on Delphine, you can see, I think some that's security day. A jewelry. That's awesome. And we got almost top to bottom coverage. Yeah, I was trying to like figure out so the middle of that. Yeah, the middle would got to get a little bit wider. Yeah. We'll get there. I mean, it's going to melon since G officially kick off. Zona, I just signed it in April. You didn't kick off June 1st. Got Redmond Rifle Company in Hoover. Yeah. They signed up to be on board before we got anything actually signed. Yeah, there's like when this happened, we're in. That's awesome. And so since June, I think we're up to 2 down in Montgomery, Mobile. I mean, 12 since June and signed up.
That's impressive, man. Because it's if you're not in it, you don't think about those things, but then you see when they show up, you're obviously dealing with something. And now we have information there to help them deal with that. And then we also contact them and you don't let them fall through the cracks. And that's, I hope that that's what this show does for a lot of people. Either they can share the information that maybe a gun shop guy, that maybe somebody that, has some influence in that area that's going to get them on board, or they are that guy that needs to bring it down.
Yeah, and it's no questions asked. Like, that was how the one of the things I would do all the time, with the VA. Initially, I was on there. It's because I would always see somebody different and I had to rehash my entire story. It's put me right back.
It does.
Like put me right back in the middle of it. So, this isn't one of those, like, they're going to ask some very, 40,000 foot questions, like, name, phone number, email.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to share, just because you need to get it off the chest kind of thing, like, everybody that's involved at the FFL are 100% in on. They'll listen. Yeah, they'll give me that ear.
Yeah.
But you don't feel obligated because you've got something going on. You have to tell them why you're there.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Right. And that there's a comfort level there. So if I was in that position, I wouldn't want to probably talk about it if I'm, but I'm deep thankful because there's no judgment. They don't, you don't have to tell them why you're there. You want to. I just think it's so cool. I got to interrupt. I'm sorry. The letter from the kid on the 3x5 to say thank you. That got, because that's really all it needs. It's really all people need is that, hey,
what's that little bit here? I was going to say, but Dad, we talked about that very little bit. That's that person we wonder that they're not forgot.
Yeah. Because you said kids, and it's different.
Yeah. It's different. They're honest. I mean, they filter, they do. There's genuine, what I'm saying, I say like,
yeah,
but who gets the cars, filters at the cars they go through, because sometimes there's they're kids.
Yeah.
And they're just,
no, yeah, of course.
Yeah, they're being honest. So they just, they're just acting like that. But
right.
But it's cool that, like, hey, we teach you, hey, we're going to write this letter to some vets and stuff like that, making it from the certain, it's like, write whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yes, we thank you for that. Or, the one I saw was, thank you for keeping me safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't, like, those are the stories or those are the comments that you, at the vet or even at the service member, you don't ever see. Because you sign up with a blank check to go and do stuff for people that you will never, that will probably will never know who you are, and you will never know who they are.
Right.
Whether you serve and get out and you live until you're 90, or you serve and get deployed and something happened and you get the sacrifice while you're serving,
Right.
neither side is who anybody was. And I'm just saying, they get that little note of somebody that is affected by that. Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty, I feel it's pretty powerful. And I know that, like, I'm not today in a position where I'm having a good time, or hopefully that I'm not having a time. I know that if I was, 12 years ago time, that would have been, would have definitely been a game changer in my mentality, at least for that day.
Yeah.
Of seeing that, where I was at mentally.
Yeah.
That would have been, going back to, you don't live the life to see the name of lives, live to see the life. So
I love it. I love it. And as we come to the end of the show, what is something that I didn't know to ask, or something that you would want to share, that an experience or something about your program?
Just really, it's just about this getting involved.
Yeah.
Like there's no, like, just like the pro, all of a sudden they're judging. Nobody, honestly, I'll be the first one to tell you, I don't care why you show up. Just the fact that you do. Yeah, that's it. That tells me more than I ever need to know about any conversation that we'll ever have, because what I see you doing, you carry more weight than what I do to talk about them. Which is effectively why I don't do it. It's just me talking about a bunch of stuff. Like I'd rather the interaction with people that are watching it. I would much rather the fallout of this being that they like, well, let's always see you put your money where your mouth.
Yeah.
You show up in a bin and like I said, well, I think you got the last time I was here. Yeah. I can't stand out. Right. Just right out for the fundraiser. Right. But at the same time, like, I look a certain way on purpose.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sleep tattooed. I try to work down, going like that, like my beard and all that kind of stuff. It was like, I'm the biggest person. But if you see me, you're like, oh, yeah.
I ain't messing with you.
I'm not, that's fine.
Yeah.
I like that too. But it's one of those, like, but I also like, I'm under shorts 24/7.
Yeah.
I basically wear gym clothes.
Yeah.
When I wear out, because what I'm wearing and what I supply, has nothing to do with what I can do.
Right.
Or what I can provide, or the full knowledge that I can give to somebody that he has. But what the impact that I can make. And I can wear the DC the best, pocket watch and all, sure, whatever, but then not be able to do anything for you.
Right.
Oh, some of the most helpful people, and I'm not saying helpful as in like the like most helpful people you can make sure you get anything done. Again, some of the people that live on they don't have shit.
Right.
Literally. Yeah, they have nothing. But they are the most helpful people when it comes to doing almost anything. If you ask. Yeah. I do. I did that. If there are people that literally in the city of Montreal that have the absolute least amount to give. But well, if you ask them nicely, well, they'll literally give you the shirt off of the back. I mean, you got people running around up for that, 6 figures in a separate account.
Right.
Yeah. And that's fine.
Yeah.
Everybody got their own, whatever.
Yeah.
Shouldn't just be.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say it, because to be as genuine of a guy as you are, real, come on and come on. When I open my Bible, that reminds me of a guy named Jesus that's just like, hey, I'm here. And I'll tell you, dressed a certain way to impress. I'm going to be me, and it's all that. So it's silly. Oh, yeah. And to say that, that's the biggest thing that I think would keep people from opening out and talking is, well, I'm going to be judged. Someone's going to be, they're going to look at me different. They're like, bro, I was you. I am you. Yeah.
I still am.
Yeah, but it,
Well, we talked about it a little bit. I have shelves.
yeah,
I got a visible box. So I have a visible shelf and an invisible box. So all my BS up top.
yeah,
And 75% of the time, it stays secure up on that top shelf. But every once in a while, something will happen and knocks it off. And, I'm about to eat a couple of days. Hopefully, it's not a couple of days. Just sometimes a couple of days, a couple of hours, or like that.
yeah.
Be sure not to pick it up off and put it back in the box. And then I got to go looking at it now before, and I got to see the release on the first shelf. And I basically put it back up on the top shelf. Yeah, and keep going. Yeah, I'm just in better version at that time.
And that's awesome. And that's who needs to be in charge of this. And I'm thankful for what you're doing. I hope that this show, from the letters from the kids to the gun shop to people participating, showing up at a Home Depot. You said in March, you've got the other April and November. Okay, the golf tournaments.
And we do spring and fall for Home Depot projects. The other big fundraisers will shape their site. So people are dying here. Either to keep this, whatever this may look like, January, or we're going to shave it all the way down to baby face.
Well, I'm gonna go in on the keep it. I'm gonna go in on the keep it. How long you had the beard?
Well, it was about people a little under the years when we started. Not just this is a month and a month and a half of.
You might hide behind that thing like it over.
I know. I can't. I'm like,
No trimming, no cut. Just that is awesome, man. It's awesome. I hope you keep it. It's not on my face. I don't have it.
Yeah. Well, that's everybody always do that. Aren't you gonna feel weird? I'm like, you guys are all the same to me.
Yeah. Shining the light in their eyes. I get it. Brother, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you guys for watching Podcast on Wheels. Go find Ty. Go find Bearded Warriors. Find a way to do something. And like he said, even if it's for a selfish reason, because you want to feel better about yourself, you'll see the point he makes after you do it. Guys, thank you for watching Podcast on Wheels. That was awesome.